Good morning, YouTube. JT Serenity Farms prepping here. Happy first day of spring. 32 degrees and about an inch of snow on the ground. Supposed to be 55 in a day or two. Luckily, I had nothing planted outdoors yet. But that's what we need to talk about. Your new money is food. Okay, so with all we got going on since November, I think it should be blatantly obvious to anyone who is truly woke what's coming. Financial collapse, societal, ethical, moral collapse, race wars, civil war, gun wars. It's all coming by design. People losing their homes, being moved into mega cities, water being taxed. You better have some food and lots of it. And you better be growing your own food. Okay, on a lighter note, I had a subscriber, listener, and friend tell me that I needed a banner, maybe. So I got one. $35 on Amazon. It's an indoor one. Right now it's okay in here. I'll get a nicer one for outdoors when I start selling these vegetables I want to show you. Okay, so lettuce is growing really well. These are very nice, very crisp. I even tried some onions. They're doing pretty well too. They're coming up nice and high. These lettuces are really starting to fill out. These were my test to make sure that this NFT system you see here works. So, I'm making a mess today. Have 6 buckets in here. My next greenhouse over is buckets and floating raft beds. And I'm building another NFT system just like this one to go over here. These will be nursery trays. Each one of these will hold 36 nursery plants. 36 coincidentally is 4 of these trays. So with 24 trays in a line, I have 6 different cycles going here. So I should have 36 heads of whatever I'm growing every week if that's what I want to do. Or I could have 72 heads of lettuce, spinach, basil, parsley, cilantro, couple different kinds of lettuce, maybe some kale, whatever my customers want. And then on this side, I will be able to fit 20 more trays, which I'm making now out of rain gutter, saving a ton of money, and they work just as well. But the whole point of this is that this right here, this is money now. I have enough stored food for about 5 years for 4 people. I have my water supplies. I have my water tanks. I am going to be able to grow enough to hopefully make some money to add to whatever preps I think I need. And very shortly, in my opinion, midsummer, early fall at the latest, this right here will be money. Money as in, what do you have that I may need, because I will have fresh vegetables. Yeah, this pump is powered by electric right now, but all my pumps are manageable with my solar panels. My floating rafts require no electric. These bucket systems, technically, I can water them all by hand if I need to, because every one of these buckets holds 2 inches of water in it. Where it meets the 1.5 inch pipe, goes straight across, that's filled with water. So once plants are in here and their root balls reach the bottom of the bucket, which is about a 2-week period, they can go for 2 days without being watered. If I add a quart of water to each bucket, pouring it right down the vine, the root of the plant, I can see when the water comes out of each bucket through this little hole right here, and I'll hear the water spill. I can fill 1 bucket at a time, and then they're good to go for 3 days because they have 2 inches of water, because the water is up to this level right here. So I do not need electric to run this whole thing. Yeah, my furnace won't work if I don't have electric, but I still got old reliable. Got it going today just because I love the smell and the heat, and I have a ton of dead wood all around that I can use. But we're entering summer, as you noticed by outdoors today. But folks, all right, I seem to be having a little camera difficulty there. Very likely human difficulties. So start hoarding. Yeah, hoarding everything you think that will be desired, sought after to eat. People are going to be at a stage, the unprepared, which I believe is the majority of the population, to eat just about anything that you have. Now, with using food as money, there does come potential risk with that. If people believe that you have more food than you need, or they're simply desperate and starving, whether it be for themselves, their significant others, their children, they will use any means necessary to take your money. So with using food as a currency, so to speak, there are inherent risks. It may be such that if people decide that they want to negotiate with you on a regular basis, that you may want to do that at a neutral site each time. It should be predetermined from one visit to the next what the swap will be the next time. Yes, sometimes things arise where you didn't need anything and suddenly you need it, and you've already predetermined what the trade is going to be, but that's just the way that it's going to have to be. You'll have to do it the next time. I see people becoming increasingly desperate. I went to the store this morning to start pricing strawberries, tomatoes, cucumbers, spaghetti squash, zucchini, heads of lettuce, broccoli, spinach, stuff that I am going to be selling either at a local's farmer market or a little store down the street, or potentially a couple restaurants, and the prices are getting crazy. I don't have to sell for that, which is an advantage to me. At the same time, at some point, nobody will be able to afford to buy any food. Your restaurants will be shutting down more than they have. A lot of your little mom and pop stores, if they're not shutting down, they're not going to be able to get many of the supplies that they normally sell because they can't afford to buy them. There's no one growing, producing, harvesting, delivering them. It's all one big bad domino snowball effect from hell. So I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I've been learning as I've been going, and I seem to have a knack and a green thumb for it. Anybody has any questions about how to get something started, it doesn't have to be to the extent that I'm doing. It just has to be enough to take care of you and your own. And a greenhouse adds a month on either end without being heated. The plants grow faster. It's contained. It stops many of the bugs and animals from getting in and sabotaging and eating your crops. Drop me a line, any questions. If I can answer them, I certainly will. If I can't, I will do some research for you and get an answer to hopefully help answer your question. For all local people around, Buddy and I already have 3 small greenhouses contracted that we got to start on next week to put up. They're very inexpensive as it goes. This is a $7,000 greenhouse. The one next to me, 10 by 20, was 22 pieces of Schedule 40 gray PVC, a 24 by 50 sheet of plastics, because I always order enough to have 2 greenhouse plastics in case something happens. I used scrap lumber 2x6s to make my frame. We buy a bucket of 3-inch screws to put the PVC in, 1 can each of primer and cement, some felt for the PVC so it doesn't degrade the plastic. Depending on how extravagant you want to get, $500 or $600, and you have a greenhouse that should last you 5-6 years before needing to switch the plastic out. My little one next door to this one has been 5 years, and I moved it twice, and the plastic's still holding up. There isn't an issue going on at all. But let me know what you think. Start stocking up as much as you can whenever you can, folks. Like, share, subscribe, comment, notification bell. But for now, JT, Serenity Farms Prep It, signing off.